Welcome back to Book Break. And did you know that the whole of April is Stress Awareness Month? So I've got for you in this video 7 tips for reducing your stress, and I've come here to tell you about them in the beautiful semi-open air garden right at the top of Crossrail Place. It is such a lovely, calm place to come in the middle of the city, so I thought it would be a perfect place to come and talk about how to keep your stress levels down, something that is so important for all of us in our working lives or at school or university. We've all got a lot of stress, but hopefully these 7 tips will help you keep feeling calm. Tip number 1, start meditating. So I have been reading the book Stress Less, Accomplish More by Emily Fletcher, and this is all about her Ziva technique of meditation, which people have been absolutely swearing by. So Emily Fletcher recommends just 15 minutes of meditation twice a day. This is meditating for busy people. I promise you can make time for this. But the thing that I so fell in love with in this technique is that unlike the pictures of meditating that you've probably seen of people in kind of unnaturally perfect yoga positions, this is actually meditation where you're allowed to get comfortable. So the book recommends, you know what, let's actually try this out and I'll show you. Okay, so I'm sitting down on the floor now because this book recommends that to meditate you have to start by getting comfortable. The only requirement is that you have your back supported against something and your neck is free to move around. You can have your legs crossed, you can have your legs curled up, however is comfortable for you as long as you're feeling supported and relaxed. Then you close your eyes and begin. But of course, to find out the rest of the Ziva techniques, you will have to read this book. Okay, I'm going back up to my seat for tip number 2. Tip number 2 is to practice mindfulness. So 10 to Zen is a 10-minute routine by Owen O'Kane that is all about calming your brain down and recharging, and it is really, really simple to do. So the first minute of this routine is just about checking in with yourself. Ask yourself how you're feeling and really give yourself a chance to respond. Even if some of the emotions that you're feeling are negative, just acknowledge and accept them. Even just 1 minute of that will already have brought you so far in terms of calming your brain down, but I really do urge you to go pick up this book and look at the rest of the routine, because it goes on to help you find calm spaces within your brain, use breathing to reduce anxiety, and even use some CBT techniques to ease your worries. It's really, really good. I recommend it. Tip number 3 is to remember that it is thoughts and not events that make you stressed. So I got this one from Mo Gawdat's brilliant book, Solve for Happy. So to explain what he means by this, he encourages you to spend a minute thinking about a time recently that made you unhappy or angry. So for example, maybe a friend was rude to you. Spend a minute really dwelling on that and getting all worked up about it. So I'm thinking about the customer service call I had recently where they were really rude to me, and I still feel really annoyed when I think about it. But after you've done that, then spend the next minute thinking about something completely different. Maybe sing a song that you like, or plan what you're going to eat this evening. All of that pain and anger that you felt a second ago, is it still there when you're not thinking about it? No, because an event itself can't make you unhappy. What makes you unhappy and what makes you stressed is turning that event into a thought and then dwelling on it. Obviously, it's more complicated than that, and Gawdat talks really movingly in this book about his process of grief after the death of his son. So he's obviously not expecting anyone to resist feeling pain, but the book goes into really incredible detail about the illusions that we use to trick ourselves with, everything from our sense of self to our sense of being in control. And the book then replaces them with a formula that we can use to literally engineer ourselves a happier and less stressed life. It's incredible. It's a whole new way of thinking about our thought processes, and I think it's completely life-changing. Tip number 4 is a really simple one, and that is to laugh at things that go wrong. And this came from a really sweet quote that Ian Fraser contributed to O's little book of Calm and Comfort, and it's a really short quote, so I'm actually just going to read you the whole thing. The tap water hits a spoon in the sink and sprays you. You pull a window shade and it just keeps going and going. You can't roll up a garden hose in any dignified way. You have to become a connoisseur of these events. Wow, look at that. That's great. You have to hope that a higher power is saying, that was a good one, and that you're sharing the divine pleasure it's taking in your misfortune. Tip number 6, and this one's my favorite, is give yourself unconditional permission to eat. And this one is going to be relevant to so many of you, because so many of us let food become one of the biggest sources of stress in our lives. And a book that I've read recently that massively reduced my stress in this area is Just Eat It by Laura Thomas. We have a whole video talking to the author, which I will link to so you can go and watch that, because this book I found to be really, really life-changing. Just Eat It basically tells us to ditch the diets, ditch everything that we've been stressing about around food for our whole lives, and just eat what our bodies want us to eat. Should be so simple, but of course it isn't, and that's why so many of us still struggle with it. But Just Eat It is a whole book full of guidance and exercises to help us get in touch with our body and really understand our own hunger and fullness cues. But step one before you can do any of that is you've got to give yourself unconditional permission to eat. You don't have to earn food, you don't have to deserve food, you don't have to do anything to counter food. You can have food unconditionally, no questions asked, no deals struck. And it's only once you truly believe that you'll actually be able to get in touch with what your body wants to eat. And I think my body wants a cookie, so on the way home I'm gonna get one. And finally, tip number 7 is another one from this book, O's Little Book of Calm and Comfort. This time it was a quote contributed by Lisa Funderburg, and it's really stuck with me because I think it's really lovely. So she talks about attempting new things that, in the grand scheme of things, don't really matter. So it might be copying a recipe from Pinterest, or watching a YouTube video on a new craft and then giving it a go. The point being that if it doesn't work, it doesn't matter. So instead of stressing about the results, you can just really focus on the enjoyment of learning and of doing. And I think she puts it best, so I'm going to read out a bit in her own words. The whole while, I forsake doing things flawlessly and instead just do them. For the joy of learning something new, for the pleasure of thinking with my hands, for the sweet delight of merely trying. I think that is so lovely and something that we should all do a bit more of. So I hope you're all feeling nice and de-stressed. Do give this video a thumbs up if you liked it, and leave a comment below if you've got any tips of your own for reducing stress, something that we all need so much of at the moment. And just to get your stress levels back up next week, coming up next week on Book Break, we've got a video all about the scariest horror books, and I've been giving myself nightmares all week reading those in preparation. So do hit that subscribe button below for new videos every Thursday, and in the meantime you can follow us over on Instagram at BookBreak UK for lots of fun behind the scenes content and bloopers. See you next time.